Good afternoon. My name's John Lorimer, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this really lovely room where we're launching the GTA, the AGMA GTA. So why have we got a GTA? We need to come together in the current climate, pulling authorities together. You've got the 10 Greater Manchester authorities pooling the programme of work or the projects that they've got to open them up into a programme. And we had the board just before this meeting, and I was staggered to see that we've identified £1 billion worth of projects. There are more in there to come, and that's over the next couple of years. So that was far more than I was anticipating, and I think that's really good news for our industry. We know that apprenticeships span more than the project life. So again, we need a mechanism by which we can take apprentices and move them round. In this environment, this climate, it's really difficult for the contractors, the SMEs, to do that. So by coming together, by sharing apprentices, moving them round, we are able to provide a full 3-year apprenticeship. And that's been proven in different models that exist in the North West. So that then is the operations that we've got, and we've already got, I think, 11 apprentices on the scheme thus far. So we're actually, although we're launching today, we've actually stolen a march.
The one thing that I always think back to is those individuals that this is actually about. It's not about us as companies, it's not about us as public bodies or clients. It's about those individuals that we're going to give an opportunity to. And I think this is a fantastic opportunity to do that. We all believe that this is important, not to secure the short-term opportunities, but genuinely to secure the long-term future of our industry. But I think we've got to pull ourselves away from that and realise that this and GTA and other schemes of that type are not about the short term. They're about the long-term sustainability of our industry and the impact that we can have on the wider society. AGMA, in my view, are making a bold and positive statement through the creation of the GTA. The 2011 Lords Committee review into the role of public procurement as a tool to stimulate innovation highlighted the need for public bodies to move away from the siloed approach in order to give genuine drive to innovation in public sector procurement. I think this is a good example of it happening, and I think as private organisations we've now got an opportunity to contribute to that. By pooling resource and sharing responsibility, we can develop individuals trained across a wide variety of projects, enabling them as individuals to develop broader skill sets that will better equip them, and therefore us, for the future. Providing a forum through which value is intelligently considered, the GTA will ensure, as far as possible, that those individuals are motivated to succeed.
It's something which the Commission has been promoting, the concept of employers stepping up and taking responsibility and ownership for skills issues within their sector, within their industry, within their business, and coming together and working with their providers, their suppliers, their subcontractors to tackle skills issues and take real ownership of the issues, rather than, as has happened increasingly over the last few years, employers being put to one side almost in the government's thinking about how to solve skills issues and problems, and that often you find employers complaining that they are being asked and invited to join into a government-led enterprise rather than being at the heart of that enterprise. And it's something which the Commission has been working on with government and with employers to try and to develop as a theme, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But it's interesting that even with that growth and expansion, there's still only 8% of employers in this country offer apprenticeships. That only 30% of employers actually engage in the publicly funded skills system. We know that employers that train are 2.5 times more likely to both retain and grow their businesses through skills. So what is it that's holding back and continuing to hold back employer engagement in skills? Well, the Commission believes that the key to encouraging greater employer engagement in skills is for the employers to take greater ownership of the skills agenda for themselves, for them to be empowered to develop their staff in a way which most closely responds to business need. And we've recently published a paper on employer ownership of skills where we believe there needs to be a shift from the government leadership to employer ownership of the vocational skills agenda for young people, and increasingly moving away from a provider-led model to an employer-owned workforce development model. Our view is that placing employers at the centre of the vocational training system will deliver skills which are best aligned to meet the needs of business and support economic growth. It will also support the more effective use of public funding by encouraging greater investment from employers. And for this reason, we welcome a recent government announcement to make available up to £250 million to test out some of the Commission's thinking on employer ownership. And there's a pilot which is going to start running later this year, where we hope that many employers will come forward with ideas as to how they can take ownership of skills and demonstrate the Commission's thinking can actually work in practice. And to my mind, the model that's been put forward for the construction GTA here is very closely aligned to the principles that the Commission's been talking about. Those sort of principles cover, as I've said, employers having the space to step up and own the skills agenda instead of being asked to join in a government-led initiatives and participating in provider-led programs. Employers need that space to step up and develop their own training solutions. They're working in partnership with employers, trade unions, colleges and training providers, but they need to be at the centre driving that model of skills development. And there's a pilot which is going to start running later this year, where we hope that many employers will come forward with ideas as to how they can take ownership of skills and demonstrate the Commission's thinking can actually work in practice. And to my mind, the model that's been put forward for the construction GTA here is very closely aligned to the principles that the Commission's been talking about. So for this GTA, what does it say for me? Well, it demonstrates employers stepping up, coming together to tackle shared skill shortages in their sector and locality. Talk about employers working with their supply and subcontractor chains to solve a shared issue or problem. Employers working with colleges and providers to ensure their needs are met. Employers securing the future of their business and supporting employment of young people. And then government supporting through its investment in apprenticeships and infrastructure.
For every £1 of government funding invested in apprenticeships, there's £18 of added value for the economy that comes back. That's in terms of reduced benefits and increased tax take. So this is a very wise pound indeed. There's also an opportunity for employers to demand access to advanced apprenticeship provision in surveying, site management and civil engineering, as well, of course, the more traditional craft routes. Apprentices help businesses to offer a route to harness fresh new talent, particularly at a time when UK businesses consider skill shortages and recruitment difficulties a bigger threat to performance than soaring oil prices and declining consumer spending. The GTA, through creating a part-trained pool of labour, will address this. Apprenticeships ensure that your workforce has the practical skills and qualifications your organisation needs now and in the future. The mixture of on and off the job learning ensures they learn the skills that work best for your business. NAS commissioned some research from the University of Warwick in 2009 about apprenticeships, and the research, perhaps unsurprisingly, found that 77% of employers believe that apprenticeships make them more competitive, and 76% say that apprenticeships provide higher overall productivity. The grant, which can be accessed by small and medium-sized employers, now offers an incentive to an employer who has not had an apprentice before of £1,500, and Ian's statistics of 8% of employers employing apprentices. That means that more than 9 out of 10 employers could potentially access this by employing an apprentice aged 16 to 24. 40,000 of these wage incentives are available nationally, and I hope that you are convinced by what you have heard today and that we draw down some 39,999 of the incentives in Greater Manchester to support the construction industry to grow and thrive.
The GTA is designed to meet the specific needs of the construction sector by bringing the contractors together to create a range of flexible work placements. We give the industry what it needs, particularly in a tough and extraordinarily volatile market. The apprentice gets a huge benefit of working on a variety of contracts because the GTA provides the continuity of employment, and the contractor chooses the training provider they want to work with. I reiterate that this is exactly what the construction industry often requires. It recognises and reacts to the reality of the sector. And I hasten to add that this is the model that is also required by most SMEs as well. Now, there's an excellent piece of research by the Manchester Business School recently that proves that well thought through public sector procurement can actually have a really profound effect in driving innovation in the private sector. It can make a profound difference. Last year, 28,888 apprenticeships starts in Greater Manchester. It's a big number. 6.6, about just over 6% of the national total. Construction apprenticeship starts with about 960, 3.3% of the Manchester total. And that's roughly the same number as the national figure, but well below the number that construction actually accounts for in terms of the local GDP. So there's a lot for us to go for, and that brings around 60,000 jobs in this area. So, ladies and gentlemen, finally, my thanks to everyone, to absolutely everyone involved in the GTA so far. Let's make that 500 the first milestone and drive the number beyond it, and well beyond it if we can. I thoroughly enjoyed the launch event, and I've got every confidence collectively we will make that significant difference, because the important thing about this is to the future of the sector and the future of so many of our young people. Thank you very much.